For working in token-based authentication, we need data. So for this, we'll do this with Entity Framework Core. So go to Server Explorer, right-click on Data Connection, and create a new SQL Server database. Here, type database server name. And check your authentication. So I am working with Windows authentication. Now click on OK. Your DB is created. Now right click, click on properties and copy this connection string. Now come to app-setting.json, which is responsible for configuration. So now add a new key as connection string, and inside this add one more key called default connection. And paste here the connection string. So now this will helpful for connecting code with our database through Entity Framework Core. If you want to work in Entity Framework Core in .NET 6, you have to install from NuGet. So right click, click on Manage NuGet Packages. Now select Microsoft.Entity Framework Core, click on Install. So your Entity Framework Core is installed. Now in the next step, we'll add DB context file. So for adding a DB context file, create a new folder called data, and inside this create a new class called appdbcontext. And here we'll inherit this with identity db context, which is mainly connect with application user. So we'll also create and we need a constructor which is connect with DB context options, which is related to Entity Framework Core. And for this one, we need a ASP.NET Core Identity Entity Framework Core. So this also we have to install. So Identity DB context will provide us automatically tables like ASP.NET users, roles, claims, authentication, authorization related tables. So with the use of that, you can easily work on your authentication authorization things into your DDB. Now in the next step, we'll create one more model class which is required here. So I will add a new model folder. And this I will inherit with identity user class. So this is also required for identity framework. And here we required 3 fields, which is first name, last name, and custom. So this part is created. Now jump to program.cs. So here I am working with .NET 6 Plus. So there is no concept called startup.cs. Here only we have middleware. So program.cs is now comes up with middleware, and everything comes under builder. So you can see there is a web application create builder. So every application is connected with this variable. So in this part I will add my DB context. So this will add into my connection string. So this is my connection string where I am adding DB context with my app DB context which I have created. And there is one more thing, you can see there is a use SQL server. So this, if I want to work with SQL server, so I have to go to my NuGet packages and I have to install entity framework core.sql. So we have to search with entity framework core.sql server. So this one you have to install. Now time to add the entity framework over here. So this connection string is established now. Now in the next step we'll add the identity. So in the identity we have connecting with our application, which is my source, and destiny is my identity role. Now in the next step, so if you see this particular line when I have added the connection string, so here we have this add DB context, and I connect with the DB context with my app DB context which I have created newly, and I'm connecting this with use SQL server because I am going to work with SQL server. And here I am getting my connection string from my default connection which I have created in my app setting.json. So automatically this will connect my connection string into my SQL server once this particular middleware will run. So in the first step it will add DB context and then it will add to my identity. So this way things will work on. So now my setup with SQL server and code is completed. Now time to add some migration script. This will help to connect our code through database for. Okay, so if you want to run this add migration, so before you have to install one more package from your NuGet, which is entity framework core.tools. You have to select here, you have to click on install, click on OK. Now run the command again. So this will add code script into migration folder. So if you come here, you can see here newly migration folder is created, and here we have this initials data. So if you remember, we have inherit our DB context with identity DB context. So this will add required table for authentication and authorization. So you can see here we have ASP.NET roles, ASP.NET users, ASP.NET roles claims, and user claims. So these are all tables are really required for that. So now whatever migration script is created, now time to connect this migration script into our database. So automatically this will create some new tables and columns into it. So for the command is update database, press enter. So this command, whatever code is written into this particular migration script, this will connect our database. So if you come here, our tables are created now. So these tables are helpful for automatically will get all the required column like password, security, and everything, like rules related things, and everything you will get here very easily. So this way you can connect your DB through our code.